don't see it, says Joyce.
I'll send it to her again.
Okay. We will call the meeting of the Oregon City Arts Commission to order on February 19th, 2026. Ann or James, do either one of you want to do a roll call?
I'm happy to do the roll. Alexis Ingram. Kristen Naziri.
Here.
We know Joyce Lemaster is in the process of dialing in. Daria Loy. Josh Planton.
Here.
Myra Ravenwise, also not yet online. Rebecca Sierra.
Here.
Amy Wilson.
Here.
And Amanda Dexter has an excused absence this evening.
As we just discussed, we'll, since we don't have quorum yet, we'll bypass the adoption of the agenda, but we'll proceed with it as though it was approved, and we can come back to it later. With the minutes, I'll just ask, are there any proposed changes? We won't approve them yet, but if there's any feedback we want to share on them now, we can talk through those.
I'll just add that I was present last month.
Can you add that, or do I need to send you to?
Any other changes to the minutes? Okay, I'll take silence as no. Again, we'll circle back to those. Public comment, any public comments? No, okay. Sounds good. Next up is onboarding packet and role of Arts Commission's revisions to the city municipal codes. So we have the city attorney here, who can walk through maybe the status of those two municipal code changes and any updates that have been made since the last time we saw them as a group, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Just by way of introduction, my name is Carrie Richter. I'm the city attorney for Oregon City. I know that the Arts Commission has had multiple opportunities to look at the code amendments. The code amendments deal with two chapters. One is 2.26, which is the Arts Commission's organizational code provisions, and the second one is the public art murals section of the sign code, which is section 15.28.090. I had an opportunity to review what I think was the Arts Commission's last set of edits, and we presented revised versions based on those edits to the City Commission at a work session. We got their feedback, and we believe now we are prepared to present essentially clean amendments to the City Commission for adoption based on the feedback we got from them at the work session. So I took your language with some little clarifiers, we presented it to the City Commission, and the City Commission made a couple of additional edits, and cleaned up versions are going in the packet for the March meeting, March 3rd? March 4th. So, tonight is not so much an opportunity to change that language, but for me I can present to you. And my intent was not to go into each particular amendment, but just to give you the highlights and then answer any questions that you might have.
Sounds
That
good.
makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna start with, chapter 2.26, which is the Arts Commission organizational structure. And I've gotta say, first off, the Arts Commission did an amazing job of clarifying and, focusing in, I think, on what it is, the core functions of the Arts Commission. The City Commission did want to, not have a range of membership numbers. They wanted to go with a 9-member appointed body. They had some reservations about 60% as the residency cap and the qualification cap, and so we've changed that now to at least 5 of the appointed members shall be citizens of Oregon City, and at least 5 of the appointed members shall have expertise and experience in any art form. So we've gone with your recommendations on the qualifications, but we've gone with the city commission's recommendations on the numbers.
Okay,
We have stayed with, I think, your recommendations for the officers and the scope of the term. 2 one-year consecutive terms, and at the work session we talked about, this means that if someone gets appointed midterm, they would get to serve that midterm plus 2 consecutive terms.
2 3-year terms.
2 3-year terms.
Okay.
Plus whatever
Whatever,
leftover they get appointed for.
Okay,
That would, being appointed for some leftover number of months would not cut short one of the full terms.
okay, and I don't think it's defined in here, but, normally that would mean that if you came off the commission for, say, a year and then reapplied, you would be
You
still
could.
okay for
You
another
could.
2 terms, okay,
That's the implication.
okay.
Moving right along, we've got the annual report provisions. We've got the rules and regulations. Where we made some more significant changes, that I think are consistent with, Arts Commission guidance is with respect to the powers and duties. I tried to flesh out really clearly that each of these A, B, C, D are a different sort of scope project, task. The first one has to do with the ability to incur financial debt, which is what was there before, but I think we've made it more clear. B, the Arts Commission, may approve grant applications. So this is where the Arts Commission is reviewing, you have grant money to give away and you run a grant program, right? So that's what B covers. And then C covers the Arts Commission's ability to pursue grants in coordination with other city-owned bureaus or with coordination with city staff. These requests have to be approved by the city manager or the city commission before they can be finalized, but it expressly allows the Arts Commission to engage in this effort. And then D is the reviewing public art murals and serving as the quasi-judicial body in reviewing those permits.
Okay.
Any questions about 2.26?
I did have one quick question. Under officers, just to be clear, so it's no more than 2 one-year consecutive terms as either chair or vice chair. However, if someone serves as one of those positions, can they serve the 3rd year as one of the other positions? So vice chair for 2 years and then chair?
I believe the answer is yes.
Okay. That's it for me in terms of questions on this. Anyone else have questions on 2.26?
I think just the master's here.
Yep, let the record show that Commissioner Lemaster has joined as well, so we do have quorum now.
Can you hear us?
Joyce, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Thank you for joining. Any other questions on 2.26 before we move on? Okay. Let's
Okay.
go to murals.
15, 28090 public art murals. These provisions, the Arts Commission did a number of things, but I believe, and I have revised those things, a fair amount to, not to change the intent, but to be consistent with the rest of the code for things like you had capitalized Arts Commission. That, I understand that Arts Commission is a proper noun and should be capitalized, but all the code uses Arts Commission, Historic Review Board, Planning Commission, City Commission are lowercase. So anyway, that kind of thing. I went through and dealt with that. But with respect to the substance, I think we've tackled the alteration piece, really, you've done a really nice job of tackling the alteration piece that essentially says repairs are allowed, minor changes resulting from routine repairs are allowed, slight and unintended deviations from the original when repairing is allowed, and replication of an identical when it is destroyed or a substantially similar mural is allowed. So long as the replacement occurs within 3 years after initial removal. I think it's important that we have that substantially similar there, so we're not looking at the tone of the red.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And just to add to that, what that does is it doesn't require them to come back with a new application to the Arts Commission to get approved.
correct.
They can just, yeah, okay.
Correct. So moving on now to the criteria that you all use for reviewing the mural. And we've got the language in here about original artwork that I think is the language that the Arts Commission had used. And I think we've stuck with that exactly. We've made it clear, oh, I should have said this sooner. Where is the provision? I'm sorry, what?
Joyce?
Is there a question?
No.
Oh.
That's not cool.
I think it is, oh, it's further on, but one of the things we've made clear is that the obligation is for mitigation or retention of a mural is 5 years if the permit doesn't say otherwise, but it could be for a shorter period if the Arts Commission approved a mural for 2 years, for example.
Okay,
And that if, once the 5 years are up, it rolls over on a 5-year cycle. And then we've made clear that whenever it expires, it's the owner's obligation to remove the mural. It kind of, the language before sort of read like, if the owner removes it early, they have to pay, which implied to me that if they make it the full 5 years, somebody else pays to remove it, and I didn't want that implication, so I made it
Yeah.
clear that whenever you want to remove it, it's on the owner to pay those costs.
correct. I think that was our intention as well. And so not having them have to reapply means that we don't necessarily, if someone wants to leave a mural up for 10 years, it means they don't have to come at 5 years and reapply with a new application. They could leave it up for 10 years and. they're
Correct.
good. Okay,
Correct. I mean, unless the conditions say, because we're concerned about the quality of this mural, we want you to come back at 5 years
Yeah.
and prove it up again, which the conditions could say, but assuming it's run-of-the-mill mural, it's gonna roll over at a 5-year period
Yeah.
until someone comes to the city and says, okay, we wanna terminate, we're gonna remove it.
yeah, sounds good.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Other questions about that? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I think we just lost Joyce. I think she just.
Oh, she's
I'm just looking
Oh.
at,
Oh, okay, no, we added another one. So also let the record show that Commissioner Ravenwise has also joined. Thank you, Myra.
And then the final thing I wanna point out that we've added in here is this idea that, the approval process, in D1 is, says the public art mural should be approved by the Oregon City Arts Commission at a public hearing based on the criteria. In the event that the Arts Commission is the applicant, the City Commission shall review the permit request. And so that is the situation where the Arts Commission proposes a mural. They can't both be the applicant and the reviewer, so we're gonna punt that to the city commission.
And, I guess, we have that matrix that was sent out in the packet, but basically how we were looking at it before was you have funding and, location. Either it's private funding or public funding or, private location or public location. And this would eliminate, if we wanted to, say, give a grant out to people who applied, business owners who applied and said, we want to do a mural on our property. We could give a grant out to them. We can't approve that application when it comes back, but the city commission can with this. So public funds could fund a private mural, but the city commission is going to be the ones approving the application.
Yes.
Okay. And then did it also clarify what we should do in terms of a public, a publicly funded mural on city property? So if we wanted to do a mural on City Hall, for example, do we have to go through the same application process? Exact
Yes.
same, okay.
Yes, there is no exemption for city-owned property.
Just like with the planning, I remember you making that point at the, city commission work session, and that made sense, that if they're gonna build a new building, they have to go through the same process, so,
Correct.
okay. Okay, that's clear in my head. Does anyone have any other questions on the municipal code, or, I'm sorry, is that the end of it?
So, I think the plan is to present these amendments along with an ordinance for adoption at the March 4th, meeting. It'll be a first reading on March 4th, the second reading on March, 18th, and then it will take effect 30 days after that, so it will be taking effect in middle of April.
Okay. Anyone online have any questions regarding the mural code changes as they currently stand?
I'm good.
I do not.
Okay. Awesome.
And
Well-
also, I wanted to thank everyone for all of their help to get this done, because this makes things really nice. And it was a lot of work, so thank you to everyone.
Yeah. One thing I guess I'll note to people is that we're gonna, the intention is that now, once the, changes go through, we're gonna come back and look at some improvements that we'd like to propose to the mural process itself, the application process, to hopefully streamline some things, make it easier for, building owners and artists who are applying. So that's an intention to bring back at a future meeting. Also, in the packet this month, there was a mural matrix. I believe that's been updated based on the current, code, but we can look at it again when we come back to the other mural stuff. But that simply was intended as an internal document for reference, in the future, kind of breaking down the roles of the Arts Commission and the various scenarios that, I was summarizing earlier. So, have a look at that. We'll probably come back and ask for, some final write-off from the Arts Commission on that as a reference document, but, yeah, that was what the intention of that was. Are there any other questions related to murals or in general the code, the municipal code that we just reviewed, that anyone has?
Just a point of clarification, Chair.
Yep.
So the matrix has now been developed so it's congruent with the municipal code.
Okay,
So it's in that condition now.
it's with the new code, so once the new code goes into effect, this will be accurate. Okay, perfect. That's great. Okay, well, great, that makes that one done. The next up was the Willamette Corridor Initiative. I think, I mean, I think I don't think we had anything else for legal counsel.
Are we done with legal?
I think so.
That's a yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you very much for joining.
sure.
So Willamette Corridor Initiative, there was two pieces to this. One was the art selection, and the other one was the addendum to the letter of intent. I think maybe we want to start with the addendum and have James go over that, and then we can shift over to the selection of the art, if that makes sense to everyone else.
Sure, and I am still trying to find I don't have my copy.
Oh.
You have a copy of it?
You're being careless, James.
I'm sorry.
Giving all your stuff away.
Thank you. So, okay.
Mine? His? Whose?
James, your mic?
James.
Testing. Can't hear me?
I,
Testing.
grab her mic.
Okay. All right.
I guess there's a back.
Huh? Tricky.
It's a back on these are special microphones for loud people. So, the letter, the addendum, and I wrote this addendum to reflect the concerns that were expressed during a work session with the city commission. And in essence, it basically says that, it wants to cooperate, it wants to collaborate with the corridor, with the rest of the participants. And it also states the value of doing that. It also addresses the issue of money. And so therefore, if any funds, only funds that can be spent on the corridor with respect to Oregon City's contribution and involvement has to stay within the legal confines of the city of Oregon City. In other words, you can't have an art piece sponsored by the city of Oregon City and Lake Oswego.
A physical piece,
A
yeah.
physical piece. So the city would spend its funds on its own art as part of the corridor. And the last piece in this is that when it comes to marketing, promotion, and outreach, the group, when I say the group, the corridor, decides on, say, the budget for that. And they also, with the Arts Commission involvement and inclusion, decide what piece of that or how much the Arts Commission will contribute to that pot. So those are the main headlines. So what happens here now, in that the City Commission, during its work session, agreed with this in principle, and now it goes forward to the regular Oregon City Commission meeting, and it will be on consent agenda. So,
What's the date on that?
and that's on March 4th.
Okay.
So if they approve it, which it sounds like they will, then this would come back to us, and our representatives with the corridor project would deliver this. Is that how you would see it, or do you imagine that it'll come directly from the mayor back to the group?
Well, the mayor would have to sign it,
Yeah,
and she'll probably sign it on the spot.
yeah,
And then we'll just send it out to all of you.
okay. Sounds good. Are there any questions?
And then you would be responsible for sharing it with the
Yep,
rest of the.
yep, our representative can do that.
Sure.
She's capable.
Kind of. I would state for the record that was always the intention. There was never any intention of the mixing of funds for the acquisition of art itself. But it's always good to have it in
Yeah, so,
writing.
right, it's already, that's what I'm gonna say, it's
Yeah.
clarity. In writing, it's clarity, it provides clarity.
Okay. Any questions from those online? Okay. Perfect. Next up then is selection of art for the corridor initiative, and I'll hand it over to Amy to kind of talk through this. Amy, I can bring up the Oregon City Art Tour on the Zoom call so people online can see it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I had sent out a selection of the art that was closest to where the corridor initiates coming across the bridge. And then come to find out that one of the murals is no longer. I did not know that. So the Abernathy mural that I had sent out is not an option.
So this is the art thing, and I believe this is where you got your map from too, but
An
it has,
older version. Because this doesn't have Abernathy on it, right?
I don't know, I have to go through all of them.
Oh.
Oh, no, hold on, 10, Abernathy is on here.
Okay, so that is the one that I got it from originally, but essentially, if I could just be so bold as to make a recommendation, it's a cluster of murals, but the one that is the closest is 12, and that's the trolley mural. It's not controversial as far as only presenting a colonial perspective necessarily. And again, it's the closest. So what we're trying to do right now is to just get some things on a map. And if this is our initial contribution, the fun is going to be citing future artwork that we really spend time on. We just needed an anchor. So if when I was looking at all the rest of them, that was the one that just sort of made the most sense to me. And this is an old picture. It's been restored. It's really pretty now.
Yeah. So, just to summarize, what you're looking for, Amy, is, or what the corridor project's looking for is everyone to identify a couple pieces, at least one,
Only one.
only one.
Only one. We are here to pick the one that we
Okay.
contribute.
At least one project, one current piece of art that we will include in the list of pieces of art under the corridor project. As Amy was saying, the downtown area of Oregon City makes the most sense since that is the defined end of the corridor, Highway 43 there. Your recommendation, Amy, is to go with the trolley. Again, this is an older photo. The updated one was done by Kathy Rowe back in like 2021, 22. It was more
Yeah.
recent.
It looks nice.
It looks nice.
Rebecca has a hand.
Oh, yep, Rebecca.
Oh, it's okay, you said it. But I did want to point out, I actually have a list of all of the murals that are right off of the bridge right there, because I've been working on a different project. And also on the website, Josh and I were just looking at this picture, and it's very vibrant, and it has a lot of red in it. It's very bold, and I think it would be perfect as our first one.
Yay.
Any other comments, thoughts, questions? I can kind of scroll through some of these too. These are other ones that are downtown.
Yeah, the other ones were the Meek and Barclay murals.
Yeah, so this is the Joseph Meek one. This one's on the Elk Lodge. I will note that there has been interest in the past, and I think maybe even recently, about doing an update, or not an update, but a restoration of this one. So, we'll learn it more as it comes. This one, Abernathy, is no longer there.
Barclay?
Does it need to be a mural?
No. So the other ones that are close by, the only one that is sculptural is the Willamette compass.
This
That-
one.
Yeah, there you go. Mine was slow. And it's not my favorite. To me,
Are sculptures time bound like murals are based off of the
No,
rules that we just went over?
no, statues do not, I don't believe there's a municipal code on statues. It probably all falls under policies with the, what's the department?
Right?
Not Parks
Or
and
not,
Rec. Public Works.
Thank you.
I was just wondering which one would, for longevity's sake, which would be around longer, do you think, a mural or a sculpture or a statue?
Well, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
I'm not sure, I can look up when that one mural was done. I mean, it's been around for a long time, and it was just recently restored, and hopefully it, will last for a long time, but, yeah, that's a good point, that longevity is also important here. So,
Like if a building owner is only obligated to keep it for 5 years, and they're getting close to the 5 years, is it potentially gonna go away in the next couple of years?
yeah,
So again, I'm trying to put my head in the sort of the planner, the corridor planning space. We have more that we can choose. I mean, I think this is just my opinion, guys, but our best piece of art is Moontrap. That's over behind the side, the Lee Kelly piece. But
Yeah, I
that's
was
far.
kind of wondering.
It's far away. If you're looking at, you're a person going on a tour and you come off the bridge, you're like, wow, this is really far. I'm passing up all this stuff. But, there aren't rules. The group has not said, given any direction about how close they need to be.
Why not draw the people into the city though to come find it?
James, have you hired?
Instead of
anybody?
making it super accessible in the beginning and then they can turn around and leave.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kristen.
'cause I was kinda thinking-
no one ever said Oregon City downtown was accessible.
Oh, Kristen, you bring up a good point. What do the rest of y'all think?
Well, I mean, I think Moontrap should be a good contender for the spot.
With the website, the Arts Commission's website could be one of those ways of drawing people to it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I just cannot emphasize enough, baby steps that we're taking right now. We are just trying to get footprints in the sand right now. The fun is going to be filling them in. And so, in a way, speaking to what Kristen is saying, maybe it doesn't have to be the closest. We fill in something closer later on, and I could see that.
yeah. The Moontrap, as it says here, was thanks to the Rotary Club, and we've talked about it before as well, because there's a plaque I wouldn't say right in front of it, it's about a block away in the sidewalk, and we've talked about maybe doing something a little closer to it to, as people look at it. It is on Railroad Avenue, right? So,
Right.
it doesn't get quite as much foot traffic, but I think a lot of people drive by it all the time, so it's still very visible. And you can, again, see it from, the main street once you come up to that, intersection. So I'm happy with the Moontrap, one, if other people are, Rebecca, your hand's raised?
Yeah, if we do Moontrap, which I think would be great, just know at the other end of that wall is going in the new mural in July from Soul Flags. And then right across the street is the one at White Rabbit. So it's a way of kind of getting people to wander around. Because the Lee Kelly piece is strong. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to maybe take a quick temperature of where people are headed? Or does everybody think this? Do you want more discussion or? I mean, do we all agree? If we're all agreeing, there's no reason to keep, right?
Yeah.
Are we talking at all about the mural on White Rabbit?
I believe it was on the list, but I will say the one thing with that is, I'm not opposed to having it in there, but it is kind of more on a 99. And I guess my mind is stuck on this being 43.
Yes.
But,
No, it's true.
yeah, again, we could come back in 6 months and say, well, let's add 4 more pieces from our existing collection already. To Amy's point, you know, our next goal should actually be to add a new piece that can then be added to this. But we can always go back and say, we're gonna add a few more pieces to this project. We wanna get one identified first, get it going, and then kind of start that snowball effect that kind of builds over time with this project, so.
Keep in mind too, that this is just the corridor project. One of the things that we're gonna take on is having our own arts district and our own tour map and bringing people in to see all of them so that we're not even picking from them. So it's not like this is the only chance that we're gonna have.
Yeah. Rebecca, do you have your hand raised again, or is it still up from
Oh,
before?
sorry, no.
No, you're fine. Joyce, any thoughts from your side?
I do like the moon trap. I think we need more sculptural pieces because we do have a lot of 2D in there. How are we going to organize this as far as this corridor goes? Are we going to have this like numbered pieces, or, you know, how are people going to view this?
That hasn't been determined yet. I would imagine, if I were doing it, and I'm not, that I would gather them all, put them on a map, and the easiest thing to do is to have a number so that then you can reference a description on the side. But that would be just for that map. Ours is gonna be different when we do all the art, like they're numbered here. That's our own numbering system.
So, Joyce, on the marketing side, I think the corridor group is still discussing exactly how they'll market it, and they'll probably maybe even lean on their local DMOs, which we can do as well. We can work with them and see if they'd be willing to help us promote the corridor project in a way. So, yeah, I'm not sure how we'll ultimately end up identifying them, if there'd be, you know, something physical that identifies it when you're there, or if it'll be only digital online identifying, or via flyer or map or something of that type.
I think it'd be nice to have a visual identifier.
Yeah,
That's just
I'm not opposed to it. I guess it just, yeah, depends on exactly how everything else turns out with it, so. Okay, I'm not hearing anyone opposed to Moontrap. Given that, does anyone want to make a motion to approve selecting Moontrap as our first piece in the corridor project?
I so move.
Okay,
I second.
thank you, Mara, thank you, Amy. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 I,
All those opposed say nay. Okay, we have reached a decision. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amy. We'll let you take it from there on next steps and communicating that out. And then for sure, if they decide to do some type of placard or physical identification for these pieces, bring that back to us and stuff, and then,
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, again, there is a lot of sovereignty with each city. So James might have been worried. Now, they would never propose something and just say, here's what you have to install. You know, it would be an agreed upon, discussed process.
perfect. Okay, next up then on the agenda is the Art for Every Heart update. Joyce, I'll pass it over to you to lead this. I think you're looking for getting this project started again, which we did in 2025, which was a contest for K through 12 artists to submit pieces of art for a contest. But I'll leave it to you to go over more of that.
Yeah, I want to stay with the K through 12, but I'd like to get more categories and more delineation for say kindergarten through second grade, third through fourth, something like that. So we get a little more fairness in judging the art. And I'd like to get more physical pieces submitted. Also, we need some help to promote this. That was tough. I don't think we did a very good job promoting this. Of course, it was also very short notice for everybody. I would like to see if maybe Celicia can help us with that, or if anybody else has some ins with the schools to maybe help get this out to the kids. And I'd like to go with a theme this year. It was pretty broad. It was pretty open to kind of whatever, art for every heart last year. I'd like to go with something like, what do you love about Oregon City as a theme? And it can be all types of media. And in that respect, we're going to have more cash for this project.
Okay.
So you want more media, more types of media, but you said you wanted more physical art.
Well, for those who are submitting 2D and say printed work, somebody who's doing say a dance or whatever, they can submit a video. Yeah, for people who are doing something other than a physical piece of art, they can submit a video.
Okay.
Did they not? Did somebody propose a dance and not send you evidence of it?
No, nobody went. Everything was drawings and paintings. And I suspect there was some AI stuff submitted as well. I'd like to avoid that, so.
Do we have anything specifically, like we put in our bylaws for selection of mural art, that says we don't accept AI art?
We have stated we accept original pieces of art. I think intending that it means that AI cannot be the sole creator of the piece. We haven't, I think, defined that out specifically to say you can't use AI at all, because some people can use it to maybe get an initial concept going and then come back and do more, add more to it, which then becomes a question of degrees of art. I see Rebecca has her hand up. I will. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question is the vision moving forward, because is the vision moving forward for Art for Every Heart to stay with kids?
At this point, at least for this time around, because I think we kind of shortchanged kids from last time. I'd like to get a little more recognition for the kids who participate, and maybe do a ceremony to present the awards. Maybe somewhere down the line we can, move that into a different area for more experienced artists. Switch up categories. Change up level artwork.
It just seems like a lot of work to develop something for kids. I'm assuming you're thinking like 18 and under or whatever. Is it going up through high school or middle school? Like how far?
High school.
High school, okay. It seems like a lot of work to just do that for another year. Like, I feel like if we're not going, I don't know, this is just my initial hit. Like, I feel like if we're gonna make Art for Every Heart for kids, and we're gonna spend all this time kind of building out and developing a program that makes sense, that we stick with that for a while and not flip over to, say, more experienced adults to have a response, just because our resources on the board are somewhat limited. And so there's that. And also, I think I would like some clarification on what you were saying, like broadening it, because it almost feels too big to me, and a little bit unwieldy. Like, I feel like it needs to actually be honed in a little bit, because if you've got all of these different age groups and categories and all this, that is a lot of work to market. It's a lot of work to organize. It's a lot of work to explain to people how it works. So I'm wondering if there's a way that we could simplify this, looking at the resources that we as a group have available to us, and then looking at, like, what can we realistically do so that we can give the artists, like you're saying, you want to be able to honor them and recognize them in a way that they can be seen. On the other hand, doing that, we have to be careful because these are kids. So I'm trying to, like, those are some of the things that are kind of rolling around in my head, is like, yes, we want to give them visibility and we want to recognize them, and at the same time we have to kind of protect them.
Okay, can I maybe start with the bottom line? How much money are we talking?
Well, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the awards? Because that still remains the same.
Okay, then that whole idea isn't feasible.
Well, sorry, Joyce, to interrupt. I guess what I'm thinking, hearing kind of the ideas you've thrown out, some of the feedback that's come in, I guess my main question right now is what is our ultimate objective with doing this program? What does the community of Oregon City receive in benefit from us doing this program? Is it, I'm all for arts education, and that is it to get new pieces that we can put on our websites? Is it to maybe use these ideas for future projects, or what's the ultimate goal?
I think initially, Josh, it was to get some original art that we could use every 2 years as kind of artwork for, like, for example, we're talking about, stuff to print on swag for an upcoming event. What do we use for that? So it was like to have an image, whoever won the visual, that image would be used for 2 years. It would be a biennial contest. Now it's kind of morphed, which is fine, but I think you're asking a really good question, which is, how is this benefiting Oregon City? Like, I think we've kind of lost the bead on what this thing is, and maybe we need to regroup and rethink it. Maybe it's too big in itself. Like, maybe it just needs to be one thing. Like, what do you think Art for Every Heart means? And submit your application, or submit your work. Like, it just feels really unwieldy to me at the moment. And it felt that way last year too. I think we were trying to do too much at once. And so, going back and asking, how does this benefit Oregon City? How does it benefit kids? If we go with kid artists, how does it benefit adults? And one of the things was, well, they got money, they got actual money given to them that hopefully they will go use on their own art practice.
Yeah.
I love what both of you are saying. I have to say, it feels muddy to me as well. And I think half of the reason that it's so daunting to take on is because it is so muddy. Joyce?
I think we should circle back and figure out what we want to do with this program. I know it kind of got put in my lap last year. Mm-hmm. I have no clue what I was gonna do with that. I didn't have a whole lot of guidance, so that's why that turned out the way it did. But I hear what Rebecca's saying. There was this plan for this to go every 2 years because we wanted a logo and to use it for promotional. I think let's stick with that. But I think we need to put our heads together and decide how we want to do that.
Do we want to spin up a couple people to go and brainstorm this offline and come back with some ideas, do some research on maybe similar programs? I also find it amusing too that I think Portland Art Museum right now is doing a exhibit that is very similar to kind of this concept of art is for everyone. Have you seen that? No. Has anyone else seen that?
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's where the direction we're heading is to take this offline and come back with some ideas, maybe for the next meeting, and maybe the proposal being focused on what the objectives would be of this program, and then we can get into the logistics of, who's going to be involved, who's going to be capable of submitting, and then those details based on that. Does anyone have any other thoughts on this? Any other comments on this?
I think that's a really good idea. I think we should regroup because that's a chunk of money that we set aside for this, and I want to make sure that we're using it in a way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's easy for us to explain to people so that they want to engage with it and participate.
Yeah, and I think we should come up with a plan as a go forward type plan so that we know what we're going to do going forward. This is what we do with Art for Every Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it did become our motto, right? And so we like it. Like, it really explains our kind of our perspective on, the kind of art that we want to make inclusive in Oregon City. And so I like the Art for Every Heart. One of the things to keep in mind that might take some pressure off of this is that we did say it was for 2 years. We already have the winners from this last year. They will be on the website and their art will be shown because they're children. It's not going to be their full names and identifying schools and all that sort of stuff. We still have another year to kind of work through this because that's really what we set it aside for. So we could just, pump the brakes for a little bit and give ourselves a little bit more room rather than trying to figure out what to do before next month.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Let's flesh this out and, come up with something solid for the next go round.
Okay.
All right, Joyce, you're gonna have to keep us on track, though. I sense an easy path for something going away.
Well, and I don't want to drop this all in Joyce again, so.
Well, her and Alexis.
Or Alexis.
Yeah, Alexis is helping her.
On the fair, the resource
Not
fair.
on this.
Not on this.
Oh, sorry.
Not on this.
So is there, I'm gonna basically ask, are there anyone who wants to volunteer to work with Joyce offline and come back and work with her on a proposal and come back?
Joyce, do you mind if I team up with you on this?
That'd be great.
Awesome.
Okay, so Myra.
And I'm happy, am I muted? No,
No.
okay. I'm happy to be backup if you guys need it. If you need any historical, here's what we did. But I would love to see you guys run with it. So I'm happy to, I'm just busy with other things that I'm trying to finish. And so it's there if you need it, but feel free, go run.
Yeah, if you want to do a quick meeting sometime soon with one of us, and then, I don't know how that works with the public meeting situation, but it'd be nice
As
to
long
have.
as there's not 5 of us meeting, and as long as up to 4, and as long as
3.
we're discussing, but then we don't run off and talk to other art
Technically, it's
commissioners, 'cause
4.
that-
Sorry, James was asking 3, but it's technically 4. It just can't be quorum. We can't reach quorum in that discussion.
Right.
You can't reach quorum.
So trying to keep it to 3, to James' point,
Yeah.
is only because if one of those 3 people end up talking about it to anyone else on the commission, that automatically becomes a serial group, and we get very close to going over. So keeping them to 3 is beneficial for that purpose of buffering the group a bit, so. Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so yeah, Joyce and Myra, let's do an initial, like, quick Zoom, in the next week or 2, and then you guys can run with it.
Okay, awesome.
And
Sounds good.
I always will advise, you don't have to take my advice for sure, but I would always advise looking for other programs similar to this in other places, because the more and more I've seen, the more and more there's people that are already kind of doing things similar elsewhere, and we can not have to strain ourselves by recreating the wheel every time. So that's kind of where I would start, is looking around and seeing what others have done with similar projects.
Josh, if you happen to have, I was scrolling through Portland Art Museum while you were talking, I don't see that exhibit. If you happen to have a link at some point, will you email it to us?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, cool, thank you.
And I also had a question. So since I coordinate the art festival in the summer, is there a way to merge the 2 or work together on that at all, or should they stay separate since I'm also here?
Well, I think there's opportunities to do that. I don't know of anything that would block us from doing it, but that's a good idea to keep in mind of collaborating with others through this program as well.
Well, what would that look like? What did you have in mind, Kristen?
So last year we put the leftover 6x6 and the new 6x6 art up on the stage as our like museum, I guess, gallery. And so that'd be a perfect spot to like, I was looking at last year's and they were awarded at the 6x6 show in June. Ours is in August, so it's a little bit later on the timeline. But you would have a free citywide audience there to present to these kids. So they would have a stage. You could certainly show their art. It's an open space. It's already available to a bunch of people interested in art. And I've been wanting to incorporate kids more into this somehow as well. So this would be a great partnership, I think, in my head, if it worked for you guys, but.
I mean, that sounds
Yeah.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
So Joyce and Myra, keep that in mind in how we could possibly, as you're doing research on what, you want to put forward as objectives for this and who we could partner with, the art show is a very good candidate there.
Sounds good.
Can I just really quick say thanks to Joyce for taking it this far, and doing this kind of research that help us get to this place where we're like, okay, we need to regroup. So thank you, Joyce. I know it's been work and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Rebecca. You've been a ton of help to me.
Okay, great. Next up then is the resource fair. So this is gonna go back to Joyce, but I also have, some of the data you sent over, Joyce. I can bring that up. If you wanna kick off where we stand currently on this, event.
Okay, well, right now I just have the spreadsheet with, items for the event. Nothing's been ordered yet. I'm approaching this as it's a resource fair. We're going to provide information, who we are, what we do. And I'm not sure how, I'm guessing Celicia will want to provide some information on her own. Like I said, I don't know what our budget is, what the budget is for all this. It's basically a want list or a wish list.
Yeah, so to your point there about Celicia, so we did reach out to Celicia and she agreed to co-host the table. It's a 6-foot table at the fair. There's, I want to say like 50 vendors, and they had to turn some people away, I believe. It was very popular. Is this the first year?
No.
No. To Joyce, your point, yes, it is a resource fair. It's meant to kind of showcase, you know, what opportunities are there for people to get involved, all of that. The details for the event are on the screen right now. They're going to give away tote bags, the first 100 attendees, free raffle prizes. They say over 30 per swing event. I think it's about 50 right now. There are going to be a couple art things here that I wanted to also point out. The Art City Library Art Lab, Cherry Blossom Collage, and the Soul Flags art activity. I'm not sure what the activity is, but there will be other art oriented things happening there. And then Porch Fest is, which is Amanda, is having some performances there as well. Joyce, I'll jump down here to your budget. So this is what you were looking at and proposing. Did you want to talk through any of these points?
Let's see. I know there were 2 sizes to go with for the background banner. Obviously, the 5x5 is less expensive, and there's a quicker turnaround on that one. So I'm fine with that. Go with the smaller one. And the let's see, the tote bags. Like I just put a kind of a mock-up logo, since we don't have an official one, that would go with our Art for Every Heart. But it would be nice to have something that's visible, you know, for people to take with them, that's got our information on it. Something a little bigger than, say, a sticker or a pen or something like that.
Do people still desire tote bags? I mean, I have a closet full of them, and every time I see somebody try to hand me one, I'm like, no.
I love them when I go shopping, you know.
I will say you might be in the slight minority there.
Really?
I think a lot of people still take tote bags if they get them.
Huh.
I don't know. I won't speak for everyone, but
Your thoughts? What would you rather see?
Yeah, I know, and that's, so I've been in a lot of groups that are always trying to figure out what kind of swag, and tote bags is an old faithful, but part of me thinks they just go home until they can be donated. I mean, I just don't know, and I haven't had time
they're
to think.
like remember when they used to have the plastic shopping bags and you'd have like one bag filled with like 100 of them in your closet? That's what you do with your tote bags now?
I kind of feel like that, and I mean, you know, I hear what you're saying. You shouldn't offer a critique if you don't have a solution. So can I get back with you on it, because I don't have enough time to think?
So this picture here is kind of representing the bags that Joyce, you had sent me. I looked it up on, I think you had gone through Vistaprint. I also looked on there just to see if there was anything else more art related, and they had a few things like boxes of like pencils, like coloring pencils and coloring books and things like that. Nothing like really jumped out at me, but maybe more art themed. One thought I had was, and I don't expect anyone else to remember this, but in like 2022, 2021, we approved the design of Oregon City art coloring books. I think Kathy Rowe actually was the one who made that request, and we approved her grant for that. We could try getting more of those
Ooh, yeah.
and having those available, because the design's already there, we just have to go to a printer with them.
With colored pencils?
We could
Would be
get
kinda
colored
groovy.
pencils or crowns or whatever. That was one idea that I wanted to throw out there.
Because, yeah, I don't know, do you have a specific, printer you work with, or?
I don't know who she worked with. She did all the printing and stuff through her vendor. And I can pull up the costs and, well, I can't remember. She had a total cost there, which would include the design and stuff, but I can't remember if there was a breakdown of the printing cost.
You might be open to also making a slightly shorter one, so instead of doing
That's
one
true.
that was the full, however many pages, just a special one specifically for the resource fair.
Yeah. I mean, I think it does a couple things. It ties into Oregon City, it ties into the art theme, and it's something that no one else there we're gonna have. I mean,
Yeah.
they are gonna give away tote bags, and I'm sure others might have the similar idea. This would be a unique thing that they could use to put in their tote bags. But that's, again, we don't have the pricing. We need to approve a budget tonight for Joyce's sake, but we can say, not to exceed limit, and then, let her go out and get final pricing and stuff there.
Let's go back to the budget.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, my idea that came to mind was like sketch pads or an unlined notebook that could promote, sketching, doodling, note-taking, that kind of creative avenue. And I don't know how much those would run, but getting a logo on there or using some of the art that won for the Art for Every Heart, potentially, might be a good idea.
Can we do
But
that?
I don't know if we have enough time.
Joyce, what was your question?
I was wondering, is that something we legally can do, use their art like that? I don't know.
Should have been the agreement for the application, right?
We,
When we signed people up, we should have had something in there saying we own this now.
Sorry, I think, Myra, you're talking about the Art for Every Heart logo that we designed on the postcards like a year or two ago. Is that, or are you talking about a piece of art that was submitted last year as part of the Art for Every Heart contest?
Either or.
So we have the Art for Every Heart that was printed, and that's available. And
Yeah.
we can totally use that.
I think that'd be brilliant.
Have images of that?
Yep, and I emailed you back, because I was trying to find out, is this 4-color, 2-color, 1-color? And what types of files that are needed for the printing specs, so that's something we can talk about later.
Because I was going through Buell's, and they're really good about getting back with me on stuff.
Okay, so it sounds, what I'm hearing is people would like the notebook idea, maybe something that's like 5 by 8 or a little bit smaller, maybe 50 to 100 sheets, and then putting on the front the Art for Every Heart logo.
How many would you want?
I mean, I think keeping to the numbers you have here, James or Ann, do you have any idea how many guests, attendees have participated in the past?
If I recall right, there was a lot of people who attended this.
Okay.
And it was certainly over 100.
Over 100?
Yeah.
So we could aim for 100 of these. I mean, it's not a bad thing that you run out. What do people think?
Yeah, I'm thinking 100 at least would be good.
Budget,
It would be
We just
helpful to
ordered-
know, sorry. It would be helpful to know what the overall budget would be for printing, and Joyce, I can help you on how to tweak the art in such a way that we can save money on printing. But it would be really helpful to know, like, okay, is the total budget for this event going to be $775? Is it 1,000? Like, so that we have some wiggle room to add more little booklets. You know, I think that would help Joyce, knowing like what is the overall budget that she has to work with.
yeah.
Well, on this budget, both banners were counted. So if we go with the 5x5, we can take off 216.
Right, we only need one, so I just
Right.
put those options, so.
Joyce, one question I have for the banner is, what are you going to, is it a freestanding banner or is it, need to be attached to something?
I believe those are freestanding. I need to
Okay.
check with Beauty. They should have like, they should have legs at the bottom, you know, to stand on.
Yeah,
So I see you have a trifold there too. What if you just went with one or the other? Like if your trifold,
tripod are like brochures, hand.
oh, I was thinking of the display.
Yeah, no, I have the artwork that Joyce put together.
Okay.
I can share with the group.
Mr. Chair, I think that, whatever you do, make sure that you have your website address on everything.
That's true.
Correct.
To draw them to the website.
Correct.
And if you wanted to be hip like everybody else, you
Okay,
could
Bob.
into a QR code.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we can look at what we could do there.
So are we just gonna, we need to come up with a dollar figure?
We need to, yeah, come up with a
Okay.
dollar figure, that we're all comfortable with. So, let me switch back over to the budget real quick, sorry. My preference, and people can shoot this down for sure, is that we give a not to exceed limit. Given that we have some variables that are still in play right now in terms of printing and things. I also would like to say that if Joyce, in your research and working with Rebecca on this, you identify that those notebooks, 100 of them would be too expensive, that a fallback could be the coloring books, and reaching out to Kathy Rowe about that, because I think those would be a little bit cheaper option.
And if we had pencils, again, I like the idea of the little kits of the colored pencils, then, you know, you're encouraging kids to actually go and make art, you know, by coloring, and so it's active to me. I like that.
Yeah. So we'll leave it in your and Alexa's hands. Over, Rebecca, you have your hand up.
Yes, I have a question. On the brochure, and James brought up a really good point about our web address. I want to make sure the language on the brochure matches the language on our website. So I would love to be able to just review the copy and make sure that the tone is similar.
Yeah, I can send you with Joyce, or if Joyce, you want to send it to Rebecca, either one.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. I'm not trying to take it away, but I think it's really important that we have consistency. So I just would like to have some input on that.
What's wrong with our mic?
I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me at all? No? No?
Maybe, I can't, I'll not come back there, I don't know. I
Okay.
can't hear you over there.
If you hear it, give us a thumbs up.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Wait, you gotta get back there. Now, do it.
Okay.
Joyce, just a quick question. Let's see, the chairs are included in participation with the event, but you still need a 6-foot table and a tablecloth?
The city is providing the table and 2 chairs.
Okay,
Gonna bring an extra chair, and I have tablecloths that I've used for shows. I can bring those if we don't have any, if the city doesn't have any. And I believe there's banners that were used in the past that we can use for the front.
okay, great. I was just wondering if we needed to factor that into the budget at all.
Yeah, I believe it was Hannah, she said they will provide a 6-foot table and 2 chairs.
Okay.
You know, I can make a suggestion box too. I mean, that doesn't have to be fancy. And it should be handmade. And made by me, so everybody feels superior.
What suggestions are we taking?
Well, I guess when we talk to them, see if anything comes up in conversation. Do they have ideas? Do they have suggestions? Do they have comments? Some feedback for us to put in the box.
And then once we get that, what will we do with it?
Hopefully hopefully they leave their information so we can get back to them, go through it and see if there is some good suggestions that we can go through, and maybe there's something for us that maybe there is some usable information in there that people are supplying. Maybe they have some concerns that we weren't aware of.
However, just let me put this out. I love the idea of Amy making a box. I think that's really cool. But we have a creative action lab coming up. And I think it would be great to direct them to come there to give their feedback and their ideas and their suggestions. Because a lot of times what happens with suggestion boxes is you get all this stuff and then you don't know what to do with it. It's like, well, one person says they hate this and one person says they want to see that. And it's like, how you're not really getting a good read on what it is that the community is asking for when you get these one notes like dropped here and there. Whereas if you're inviting them to come to something where everyone is co-creating and working together to prioritize and decide what it is that we would like to see happen in arts and culture in Oregon City, I would invite them to come to the Creative Action Labs.
I will say, well, I don't disagree that we can make this more specific or get something more out of it by making it, less just broadly open. The Action Lab place, just remember, we're going to invite stakeholders. We're going to have, a good group of people participate. If we end up with another 30 people showing up, which I would say is probably unlikely, but if we did, it's a lot more people to handle there, and we might not get as far than in the actual Action Lab process.
True, although because it is now being hosted by us, it is an open meeting. So
Understood.
we could end up, yeah.
Understood,
So
yeah.
we have to,
So I hear you're questioning this, and I had the same thing. And it was the same reason why we wanted to have a survey in the beginning or whatever. Our main goal is just to get people to understand that, first of all, we exist. And then second of all, what we do. I feel like we ought to put all of our energy into explaining to people that and who we are, and we inform them. Because you're right, I don't know, because so we say somebody wants more turtles in the fountain area by the library. I mean, you know, what are we gonna do with this seriously? I think instead, if we just really focus on, yes, what we do, been around all this time, these are the options that are coming up, and then that's good discussion.
Yeah, or make it a very specific question and kind of get some, use it as a way to maybe pull some data off of. For example, we could have image of all the murals in Oregon City, and we could have people just, which mural is your favorite, and they can rank them, and then we can look at who has the mural that everyone likes or enjoys the most. And maybe that gives us ideas of what kind of murals should we look at doing in the future.
Well, then it gets back, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be some contrarian, but that it's such a tiny, tiny little sample size. It's not really meaningful. If we're looking to trust the data, then you would do more to get better data.
100 people in a city of 37,000 is not necessarily too tiny of a sample size. I mean, when you look at like what they do with sample sizes in huge surveys, 1,500 people, they call 6,000 to get that, and they then have a national poll ranking it. I mean, versus 370 or 380 some million people. You don't need a huge group to make impactful
But
information
they've
out of it.
self-selected,
Yeah,
and they work really hard on those national polls not to do that.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
They do so.
Rebecca, your hand's up.
My hand is up. I would like to say, like, we could use this as an opportunity to also invite people to come to our meetings. We have a
Yay.
section for public comment.
Yes.
They could come and begin to engage with us in this setting. And there are other ways to, I think, get feedback from people and give them like, when the mayor and that one young girl came in and talked to us about her mural idea, like, that has stuck with us because that was really helpful information, and she came and told us. And I feel like there's just some more effective ways that we could direct people to who we are, like you were saying, Amy, and then how to engage with us. And then also for people who are interested on being in the board, if they come and participate, it gets them used to and accustomed to how this works. So I don't know, I'm just kind of like the survey thing. I'm not a huge fan of a suggestion box. I think it's okay to have it there. I just don't know, like, if that's the best use of our time and energy. I think having conversations, the trifold, and handing out stuff with our little art for every heart on it, on the swag, would be probably more effective in the long run than asking people to give us their ideas. Because again, what will we do with those ideas? That's what our creative action labs are for.
What about we bring public comment or the papers that say
Yeah.
public comment? How about we bring those and let people fill those out and put those in the box?
There you go.
In terms of maybe being, and I guess I'm a big fan of having more data than less data, even if it's not something we can use like for a lot of things. But what if we just said, what subject matters would you like to see in future public art murals? We had a discussion about salmon not being one thing we didn't want more of here before, but we didn't necessarily throw out a ton of ideas for alternative options either at that exact point. Maybe it's something that we should be trying to get some ideas around. If you had to pick a subject matter for a future public art mural, what would it be? And let people write it on those comment cards, and then we can read those out and get some ideas. Just like the young lady who came in last year with the mayor and gave us her ideas. It could be a way for us to get maybe some thoughts out there that we didn't have before, and it's specific enough that we're not gonna, get things that we don't necessarily, can't really use, right?
All right, where are we?
Rebecca's giving a thumbs up. Myra and Kristen, any thoughts for either of you on any of these items that we've been discussing?
Not on this one.
Okay.
I do like the idea of just giving them a little something to engage with in forms of the suggestion box and potentially doing the public comment idea. I think having a specific thing for them to react to would be good, because I think if it's too enigmatic, people may not participate. But it would be interesting just to have in our back pocket, like what types of mural topics people would like to see in the future. Not that we have to act on it like tomorrow, but I'm just saying in the future, it would be kind of nice to have. I think it's a good idea to have a specific thing. But I really, really am all for the goal of just creating more visibility about who we are, what we do, and letting people know that they can come to the meetings and when the meetings are, so that if they want to do public comment at the meetings, that they know that that's an option, and maybe give them more suggestions around what that could look like, so they can kind of start to form that idea. I think there's some kind of saying out there that you have to invite someone like 10 times before they say yes and come to the party, or to an opportunity. So if we're giving them more of an opportunity to participate and tell them when they can and where and what time and what that could look like, it might inspire more people to engage with us. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Any other comments on this before we move forward to kind of making some decisions? Okay. I think maybe then breaking this into a couple different decisions. First one being, do we want to do a suggestion box and note cards in some variety, either with the comment cards and a specific question, or do we want to take that off quite literally the table and just focus on putting out information versus taking information in?
I'm in favor of a directed question for them to drop in the suggestion box. I think that's a good idea.
What was that, Amy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in favor of that. What I would say though is I would rather go with the note cards than the comment cards, because if we do the comment cards, we do have to read those out at the next meeting. And that, I just like the ability to be a little more flexible with how we collect the data and then share it out during our meetings in the future.
Yes.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
Have we agreed on the type of question we want to ask?
I like the question about what types of mural subject would you like to see? You know, let them know that we're trying to expand, you know, the different kinds of murals, because, you know, historically, they've all been about settler stories. And now we've got a few different things, but, you know, what are some other subjects that they would like to see?
Yes, it'd be nice to see something more contemporary.
Okay. I think that works out that decision.
And again, Joyce, I can help you with that. I have a lot of the language already written for this.
Okay, we could maybe make a little poster of the question and put that on the box, and they can write it out and stick it in the box.
Yep.
Okay.
Real quick, Amy, are you going to make the box? Would you like to make the box?
Sure.
Okay, Amy is going to make the box. That saved us $35.
Great.
Well, include your expenses.
I'm gonna charge 50.
Yeah. In terms of budget, so what I've heard is if we do the 5x5, that takes 216 off, which brings us down to 560-ish.
And what are the stickers?
Stickers are an option other than, tote bags. We would do, like, if I have the art for every heart, we could use that art to put on stickers. You know, the little peel off stickers you can put on your laptop or whatever, just for visibility's sake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel the way about stickers the same way I do on tote bags.
Says, and I'm gonna point this out, she has a sticker on her laptop right now.
I got this in Mexico City, and
That's fine,
and it
I'm
is
just
not
saying.
advertising.
It's a little bit of,
No. This is not advertising anything.
no, I understand
This
that.
is art.
I understand that. I'm just pointing out so everyone who's not in the room gets the full picture.
It's art.
So are we gonna go with little notebooks then?
Yes, I think that's much better.
Yeah, little
So-
notebooks
yeah.
and more pens or the colored pencil packets or crayons.
Well, the pens that are on here are just for people to write their comments.
Oh,
That's
my bad.
Oh,
Okay.
I have a bunch of those too. I got a whole box of them that I'll throw in with the suggestion box.
Cool.
So the stickers and the tote bags were just giveaway items, so we can take those off if we go with the, notepads or the coloring books.
Yay.
Okay, cool.
So now are you trying to add up?
I'm trying to add up. Where did it all go?
What is
Sorry, it shrunk down on me.
Okay, do you
We
want,
should be updating,
so, here, I can add this.
so 74,150 is 224, and then
Plus. That's all we
that's pretty
have.
much all that we would.
So that's, yeah, 224. I mean, if we said 500, let me just throw that out
Yeah,
there.
I think 500 would be okay. And if for some reason we're looking at the notepads and the trifold and it looks like it's gonna be more, we can let you guys know.
Cool.
Well,
I
but
think
we won't have another meeting to approve that before this
Right.
event. That's the
Right.
issue. It's on March 7th. So I would be comfortable, and people can, again, shut this down, given what the numbers here, and I know that there was some duplicate stuff, but I think those notepads are gonna be, you know, a $4 or $5 per unit piece, so you're talking about $500 right there. With the 226, I would say not to exceed $1,000.
Oh,
And give that flexibility.
that's too rich for my blood. So, the thing, if we're worried about the notebooks being that expensive, I mean, because again, we had 224, and if you're thinking it's 500 for the notebooks, that's back to 750. 1,000's a lot.
It's,
Well, we're not saying we're gonna spend it all. We just need the room in case it goes
yeah, if it
over.
goes to 780, she wouldn't be able to buy them then, if that was the case. If we set it at 750 and it went to 780, she wouldn't be able to do it. 1,000 gives her a little bit of flexibility.
I will yield to the wisdom of the group, such as it is.
Worry, Amy, I won't spend $1,000.
I mean, I would say if the notepads come back and they're over $500, I would maybe switch gears and look at the coloring books instead. Because that would be probably more of a $2 to $3 per print option.
Get both options.
Yeah. But I'm comfortable with 1,000 as being our not to exceed limit.
I second.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't a motion, but, if someone would like to make that motion,
I will make that motion.
okay.
I second.
Thank you, Joyce and Myra. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye. All those opposed?
Do floppy hands count as an aye?
She said it as well. I heard it, even if her microphone didn't pick it up. Okay, so I think, Joyce, that gives you everything you need for moving forward, and working towards that event. I will say that I will be available on the 7th to help either set up and man the booth. I know Alexis said that she would not be available the day of. Celicia will be there. If anyone else wants to join, you're all welcome. I know Amanda will be there because Portress has a booth. Let us know. We don't want to do too many people there, also because it's just a 6-foot space and it'll get very crowded very fast. But everyone is also welcome to just stop by and visit the fair itself. So,
I wanna get one of those books.
there you go. I think you should get one if you're making the box. I think that's a given. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. We got through our agenda, and we have 15 minutes left, and I'm not sure how we did that. But
Wow.
last thing on here was just topics for the next meeting. Are there any other topics that people would like to have listed on the next agenda that we can track going forward?
How about circling back to that suggestion that young lady brought up with the mural?
I don't even know what that was, though. I honestly don't. When we asked her, she just like, well, it's a mural, you can add to it, kind of. How? I don't know.
Flesh it out. But what I'm gathering is she wants a space, a public space, where anybody could put up some artwork. But I think that would require some guidelines. So maybe we could
So
talk.
may I interrupt? When Soul Flags is doing their mural in July, I spoke with the artist, and there is an opportunity for everyone to come and contribute to that mural before she finishes it up and finishes painting. And then I also know that Kathy Rose Cows and Aliens mural is being contributed to right now by people, random people in the community. They're going in and they're coloring it in. So there's a couple opportunities already. There's one coming up, and then there's one already happening. And so maybe one of our jobs is to make that more known.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. I think talk to Tima about hers, because she, I think, also has a booth or a table at the fair, so she might be promoting that already.
Yeah.
But if not, then we could for sure help promote that.
Where is this cows and something
It's
mural?
on the old dairy that's down on like 13th Street.
Okay.
I think it's kind of on the backside though, if I remember correctly. But
Oh,
Yeah, it's called Cows and Aliens.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it would be cool if we.
I don't think it's an official mural though. Like, it's not a public mural.
Is it graffiti?
No,
It is, it's on the list.
I don't think there's an application that was ever received for it.
Well, why is it in the public art list?
I can't tell you that.
Oh, James, does it ring a bell?
No, I've never seen it. What, is it a mural?
Well, in that public art assessment report that Kathy Rowe did, and I've been working in that spreadsheet very actively, it's in there.
Huh?
So it had to have gone through.
I don't think it ever did.
See, who's the author of that publication?
Kathy Rowe?
See, get it, it's hers, and she put it in, she's,
Well, she might not know, because we don't list out which murals, and that might be something we need to do, is which murals have applications that have been approved. I mean, there's a few pieces all the grandfathered pieces that are downtown Oregon City aren't technically public murals, because there's no easement, there's no application or anything like that. So it's how we want to define it, but.
Is there an overall budget for the Arts Commission in all of its activities or proposed activities for the year?
Like a breakdown of everything?
Yeah, like a budget for the year.
No, because that was kind of gonna be our step after we finished the strategic document, to then identify where we want to take the rest of our funds and apply it to the various categories and objectives of that. So, we haven't defined out anything. We have the few pieces, little pieces that we've already applied, which I think stands now at like under 2,500. So, yeah, it's something we need to come back to and actually lay out a formal, budget, but I think the correct path forward would be finish the strategic document, which will be on the next, meeting agenda, and, then doing a budget off of that. Unless anyone objects to that and wants to do it a different way, but that was my thinking.
Can we also just consider, I think that's smart, but can we also consider, because we are an arts commission, that we try to like do one mural a year and one new mural goes up in Oregon City a year and one new piece of like sculpture goes up a year? Would that be possible?
I mean, I think it's possible. I think on the current version of the strategy document I have, that is listed as, the goal. I think it's listed almost as two new pieces of art. I don't think it's as specific as one mural and one.
Okay, yeah, maybe it was two new pieces of art. Okay. Maybe I'm just thinking
No, and
about.
we can define it out more, but yeah.
Okay. I can't see you guys.
We can't see you.
Oh,
I know.
Anne's camera's off, so it just says Anne. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
We're here. We're still here.
Unplugged.
They turned the lights off on us and we're sitting in the dark now in City Hall. The
Yeah,
janitor
James
left and the door locked and we're just sitting here talking to you.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
So related to adding more art, because obviously we all want to promote it and have more and more. But is there anything set up for the maintenance of said art?
So one of the things that I think I've come into more and more agreement with myself on, which is not hard for me to do,
to cream yourself.
is that we need to put together art management
Yeah.
proposal and process doc that kind of talks about how do we inventory everything, how do we make sure everything has insurance, how do we make sure that it's getting properly cleaned regularly, with the help of Public Works and all of that. So there, I think, are a lot of things in terms of just how we overall manage the portfolio of public art in Oregon City that we need to talk about and lay out at some point. But again, as you'll find out, last year was a lot of getting the funds spent as fast as possible. Then we moved to the municipal code and the bylaw changes, and that all takes time. And meeting only once a month, we are limited in our ability to move things forward as fast as some of us would like. So if that's something you're interested in, Kristen, or want to bring forward proposals on anything like that or anything else in your, you come across, like, feel free to do that, and we can add it to the list for the agendas. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Awesome.
I have a random question. In the history that was provided, it was pretty thorough up until the revival begins. And it says between 2011 and 2013, efforts were made, revitalize the Arts Commission, but then it just drops off. When did we get started again?
2021, October 2021. What is this?
This is it's Arts Commission and Public Art in the US. And it says our story, and then the early vision, which is great, it says all this, and then suddenly it's just like, between these 2 years, something happened, and then
what happened, I can tell you what happened in that time period is that, members, the arts, how do I put this? The Arts Commission at the time just ceased to exist. And that was that.
What I read was it became kind of a event planning group, and then interest faded until the point where there was not enough interest to keep quorum going, so they ended up folding it in, and then we came back into existence in 2021 due to the city commission wanting to get the the mural code out there and start doing murals again in Oregon City. So that's when they ignited the Arts Commission, and that was October 2021 was when it started, our first meeting.
Could we add that to this?
I don't know what that
You're looking at
is.
an old document. You're looking at an old document.
Do we have a new document?
We have a new website.
Rebecca
And I
has
don't
it,
have
yeah.
time to go back and do documentation when I'm working on that.
Ah,
We're looking at something that was sent out 2 months ago, and I'm moving forward. So
Yeah.
one day you will get to see the updated.
We have the language, we have all the
Oh, that's
writing in it,
good.
but
Okay.
I'm not sure
it was
where that
part of
came
the
from.
packet, I'm just saying. I can ignore it now.
Thank you.
Real quick, back, Joyce, to your comment about the girl that came in and with the mayor. What I can do is I can talk to the mayor and see if she can get a message out to the family and see if they can provide any kind of link or, because there was an example that she was referencing, but
She didn't know where.
But I couldn't find
She
a
didn't
reference
know
to it.
I mean, I hate to say this, I mean, it was like she saw something and then had no details for us to follow up on.
Yeah.
So good for her, but I wouldn't
We can
chase
have
that.
a look one more time and see if they can, if they can point us in any kind of direction. I mean, I don't disagree that it wasn't a lot of information they gave us, but maybe there's something more they have now. I'm just saying we can look at that route and see if we could find anything, and if there is more information to come forward, we can put it on the next agenda. But, we might not find anything else. Okay, well, before we do go over, go ahead.
Are we at the announcement phase before we close?
I guess we don't have an announcement phase on our agenda, but feel free.
Okay, I just wanted to thank everyone for responding to when we were looking for an artist in residence. And we found one, and I'm excited to announce that it is an Oregon City artist. Kathy Rowe will be the next artist in residence for TEDx Mount Hood down in Monmouth. And that will be in May. And so she will be creating the stage installation for that show. And that program has been going on since 2014. And that's a global initiative, the TEDx Artist in Residence program. So that was really fun that an Oregon City artist got that.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you want to go, tickets are at TEDxMountHood.com.
If no one has any concerns with this, I would throw out that, Rebecca, maybe we could work on an article about that in the Trail News for next month,
Oh, good idea.
That is a good idea.
highlighting an Oregon City artist,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
beating everyone else.
Yep.
People like winners. Like winners. That's the Olympics is in me right now. I gotta watch all of it.
Well, and you know, they were looking at like all of the counties, Polk County, Marion County, Clackamas, like all the different counties. And because they're now down in Monmouth at Western Oregon University, yeah, she did. She made it out of all of those, so.
Awesome. Any other announcements before we end today and adjourn?
How about, hey, Amy,
Hey, Joyce.
we're doing, do you know when you're set to do your exhibit?
I do not. They need some grace to get further organized, but you know yours, it sounds like. I think you asked.
Mine's in June. Yeah, I have an exhibit coming up in June with, Clackamas.
I was gonna say, why don't you fill our folks in? So it's not a private conversation. Okay, so Clackamas County Arts Association is having an, art in public, is that what they call it? Joyce, I can't remember. It's like art, anyway, they have a bunch of locations that they shipped out art, and Joyce and I were both selected, is what this is about.
Congratulations to both of you.
Congratulations, that's great.
I'm,
We had originally, I think when the first brainstorm that we had, we talked about something like that, but having art up in, banks and public areas and whatever, and
Yeah,
they're doing a good job of it already, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
awesome. That's good. Okay. No other announcements. I will adjourn the meeting at 8:31 PM. Thank you, everyone.